Hi, everybody. It is February 4th, 2022. GoFundMe deleted the Freedom Convoy's account. And it's $9 million. $9 million. They released the first $1 million, and they're not going to release any more because, well, apparently GoFundMe has contacted Ottawa police, and Ottawa police said they are committing violence and other unlawful activity. It's an occupation. I guess, the Canadian government, just like our government, they're the only uh, occupiers. You know, they occupy countries. Go in, drop the bombs, destroy the country, then occupy it, build bases, take it over. Anybody else? Not so much. They don't like it. No. Well, all right. I have to tell you, I'm not Canadian. I'm not involved in this. But I felt, when I saw that, I literally felt like I was kicked in the stomach. And I can't imagine what Canadians are feeling, especially those who donated, especially the organizers. All right, you have until February 19, only 15 days, to get a refund if you have donated. I will link below to this page. You can click on the hyperlink and you fill out the form to get a refund. And I guess then after the 15 days, GoFundMe works with organizers to send all remaining funds to a credible and established charity or charities chosen by the Freedom Convoy 2022 organizers and verified by GoFundMe. Is it also approved by GoFundMe? Oh my God. All right. I will. Okay. Unfortunately, I had the page up, but I think when I tried to get it again for this video, we are having trouble. Error. Okay, I think way too many people are going to the trending fundraiser, which is Freedom Convoy, and, well, it may have crashed the site. That's my hunch. So I will link below to this. Go give, send, go, and just keep trying. Eventually, you'll get to the actual page, which, I had no problem the first time, and now I'm having a big problem because more and more people now know GoFundMe deleted their account. Okay. They raised $90,000 in under an hour, and when I clicked on, let's see if this works. When I clicked on the page, it was 106,000. So they are getting a lot of donations. Awful lot of people want to see this be successful. Awful lot of people want their freedom. I do think that give, send, go can't handle the numbers going in there. So I don't know if you know this. I really just retweet an awful lot. But if you have any interest in checking out my Twitter account, and I'm new at this, but I will link below to it, or it may be linked below. I might have put it in, I don't know. But see, not even sure how to get to my own page. But I have to say that there is so much going on that it's a good way, especially just going down, one page, because I retweet an awful lot. And if you want to stay abreast of what is actually happening all over the world, on many, many different agendas, then you might want to check out my Twitter page. So, the farmers are all over, coming into capitals in Canada. And yes, the truckers clearly are prepared to stay. They have an awful lot of supplies. You can call it whatever you want. I don't care. Governments do not have a right to take away your freedom. So, it's just, people need to change their thinking about what is taking place. If they still think that this is a bad thing, and there's an awful lot of these, mainstream media, especially in Canada, wow, are they really going after everybody who's, there in Ottawa, calling them violent, even going as far as saying that they were threatening rape of residents in Ottawa. I'm so sick. I just feel sick of the truly. They're just vapid, empty souls with no morality to just lie and lie and lie. It's so disgusting, and it's only getting worse. So, military tells Ottawa to find someone else to evict the truckers. The Liberals trying to censor the internet again, of course. So, yeah, apparently very soon after the military in Canada heard that the military was an option, the Canadian Armed Forces quickly stated they will be doing no such thing. Spokesperson for the Minister of Defense told Wall Street Journal on Thursday the Canadian Armed Forces are not involved in law enforcement in this situation, and there are no plans for any such involvement. And
I've been contacted, my phone's been exploding in regards to the towing and recovery industry going down to the U.S.-Canadian border at Coots and being asked to remove the truckers and vehicles that are blocking the border due to the Freedom Rally. So my phone's been exploding. So I thought I best just get on here and hopefully somebody listens to what I'm going to say. I think this is what we need to say. Due to COVID, we have no available trucks. Due to COVID, we have no available personnel to help with your request. If they continue asking, due to COVID, we are unavailable to go. This is what Justin Trudeau said to all of us. Now, there are several companies down at the border out of Calgary, which doesn't look so good. And they have been requested, and there's some videos out there that are showing them being ready and being protected. Look, if you're having to be protected by the police or some other law enforcement agency, do you not think it's the wrong thing to do? Now, maybe if it's a criminal investigation or something of that nature, or something when you're in your own jurisdiction, you might then need protection. But we all know what's going down at the border. So I've had people call all the way from the U.S., Canada, East, West Coast about what's going on at the border. The only thing you should say if you're contacted by law enforcement or by the entities that want these vehicles removed is, due to COVID, we have nobody available.
Due to COVID, we have nobody available to tow trucks. Very good. Very good. Canada is rip-roaring all over. And again, you know, I wrote underneath a video that I posted, I don't know, today or yesterday, just stating, you guys, you have already been an incredible success in so many ways. One way, Canadians have shown us that humanity is still very much alive. All we need to do is trigger it, and boom, it explodes, because people love freedom, and people love joy and connection, getting together, and like-mindeds, and boy, it is really exploding all over Canada. This is Toronto. So, a large group of protesters fed up with COVID policies and Justin Trudeau gathering at Highway 400 in Toronto. The people have now occupied Toronto, Ottawa, Coutts, Quebec City, and the Manitoba legislature. Good. So, Alberta to ease COVID restrictions, eliminate vaccine passports. No date yet, but the Premier, Kenney, did say that they would begin with the elimination of the vaccine passport. He said, once we begin to see a sustained reduction in COVID pressure on the hospitals, I'm looking forward to being able to make decisions on relaxing public health measures. I don't like that. That sounds too open-ended. He believes that it will happen this month in February. I just ask people to be a little more patient. You know what? On year 3, you're asking people to be more patient? Yeah, what is really hard here is knowing the truth about what's taking place, which I can't say on YouTube. So, the provincial medical officer, Dina Hinshaw, said COVID is now becoming endemic. While there will still be risks for some members of society, the system is unlikely to be overwhelmed. Oh, Dina. We cannot continue to use restrictions in the long term, she said. Well, this has been known by many experts for a very, very long time. Years, in fact. So, you know, just because he says Well, we're going to watch the hospitals, make sure that they're not, well, she just said they're not overwhelmed. Did she say that? Yeah. We can't continue to use restrictions in the long term. While there will still be risks, the system is not likely to be overwhelmed. All right, then drop the vaccine passports immediately. Immediately. They could do that. Ontario's top health officer or official says it may be time to reassess the value of vaccine passport requirements. I don't think any of these people would be doing what they're doing if the Freedom Convoy never manifested. Now they're getting scared. Well, we better do something. That's not to say that they're not going to come back and do something else. We know there is a worldwide agenda to take over the world. So, yeah, we're in for it. Okay? This is a sustained fight. And once you get your freedom, if you do, in Canada, don't think the war is over. You have won a major battle, but the war is ongoing. And Saskatchewan, it's time. Mo says COVID-19 restrictions on freedoms will soon end in Saskatchewan. End them. Maybe they can't immediately end them because they don't really want people to think that these convoys had much to do with it. And with the immediate release of all of these restrictions, it might raise eyebrows for some that still believe in all of this horseshit. That, well, how could they just immediately release? But didn't they say just a couple of days ago that, yeah, all right. But government restrictions on your rights will soon be released. What's necessary is your freedom. What's necessary is getting your life back to normal. And it's time. 3 years into this, it's time. Well, it was time. Actually, we should never have ever allowed any official to take away any of our rights or freedoms. And this whole pandemic has been unprecedented, to say the least. So he says it's impossible to eliminate COVID-19, so society must learn to live with the virus and make use of the protection vaccines, antiviral treatments, and whatever. The Omicron variant is less severe, and it was. It always has been. Always has been. So you're going to lock people up, you're going to mask them, you're going to mandate vaccines for what? Something that causes sniffles. Really? That's what they did. So Canadians, all of you who believe the horseshit, you better start getting your brain back. Take it back from your mainstream media and your government officials and start thinking for yourself, independent thinking. Well, it used to be, a value, but I guess many people don't value it much anymore. I hope people start to again, but do some research and find out that what your local conspiracy theorist has been telling you has actually been true. I'm concerned that COVID being the constant topic of conversation and dictating our daily lives will have a negative impact on each of us in the province. You're only getting that now, Mo? Didn't Curly know? And calls for daily government intrusion into people's lives, skepticism regarding anything remotely positive related to COVID. This perpetual state of crisis is having a harmful impact on everyone. Guess what? That's been known to those that you impacted. I would love it if we could hold these people accountable. So, Canadians, majority of Canadians now want COVID rules to end after the trucker revolt. 15-point swing in 2 weeks. 54% of Canadians agree it's time to end restrictions, and it's amazing that there's even 1% of Canadians that still want these restrictions. All right, BC admits that half of COVID hospitalizations are because of COVID. Wow. Now, I've posted on these people doing their press conferences, and okay, so we had 19 positive cases and how many people died, and unfortunately now we're going to have to institute another mask mandate, indoors, outdoors. And Dina Hinshaw and this woman, and just a couple of, how long ago? Was it months now? I don't even know. But she reinstituted restrictions in BC. For what? For what? She's rattling off all the numbers of the hospitalizations. Oh my God, and it's increasing. We've known the numbers are not quite right. No, the numbers aren't what they say the numbers are. For years. And people have had their lives destroyed because of these people, this woman right here, who instituted those restrictions based on how many hospitalizations. And, oops, sorry. I mean, why is this happening? Because just those, regular, ordinary citizens in all of our countries believing all of the horseshit, refusing to attend to the truth of what is taking place. Actual facts. Never asking for the data. Never checking out who these people are and what they're doing and why they're doing it. You just listen to them and obey like their mommy and their daddy. Okay, I'll be a good child for you. More than half of COVID patients in hospitals are being treated for something else. Oh, this is England. 52%. 52% of those in hospitals in England are not actually COVID patients. This has been going on for years. Years. And still people believe all of the horse shit they hear from people like this woman. So what's Walmart going to do when the vaccine passports, all of these provinces in Canada saying we're going to eliminate the vaccine passport? Oh, well, Walmart certainly has money to spend foolishly. This is Quebec. Well, maybe they'll hang on to the vaccine passport in Quebec. So, if everyone says no to it now, all over the world, the whole thing crumbles. Gone. It disintegrates. The crisis has rekindled and reunited us all over freedom. Canada, we are with you. This man, not even sure I can say his name on YouTube. You know, what's also interesting is the experts, like the Faucis, and the regulatory agencies like the FDA, and the pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer, have never turned over the raw data. Never turned over the raw data on these, sharp things that go into the arm. They never turned over the data, and they have received full immunity. Why aren't people questioning this? They're completely immune from any harm they cause. And we know I'm on YouTube. Wow, I'm an American. I can't speak freely anymore. So data should be fully and immediately available for public scrutiny. Absolutely. So if there's no raw data, doctors and nurses and hospitals are just accepting whatever the pharmaceutical companies are saying. Wow. Data underlying the trials for these new products remain inaccessible to doctors, researchers, and the public, and it is morally indefensible. Pfizer indicated that it will not begin to even entertain requests for this data until May 2025, 24 months after the primary study is completed. Okay, 24 months, that's, 23. Oh, wait a second, we're only in 2022. So if their primary study is completed May 2023, why, that means those conspiracy theorists are right. It is an experiment, and it hasn't been completed. Guinea pigs all over the world. The lack of access to data is consistent across all the manufacturers. Moderna, AstraZeneca, data sets will be available upon request and subject to review once the trial is completed. And I don't even think that they're going to get the data then. So, it's an experiment. Now, in this, the British Medical Journal, this article, they state that the European Medicine Agency's former executive director and senior medical officer said, relying solely on the publications of clinical trials in scientific journals as the basis of healthcare decisions is not a good idea. No, it's not. And the FDA is believed to receive the most broad data, but does not proactively release them after a Freedom of Information request to the agency for Pfizer's vaccine data. The FDA offered to release the 500 pages a month, which would take decades of getting that data, the complete, all of the documents. A judge has just rendered a final decision because the FDA was fighting another judgment that said, no, you've got to turn over the documents, not 500 a month. And the FDA has ordered the district court has ordered the FDA to produce the documents the first business day of each month, to produce 10,000 pages for the first 2 productions, so March and April, and then we'll produce 80,000 pages on or before May 2nd, June 1, July 1, 70,000 pages on or before August, 55,000 pages on or before the first business day of each month thereafter. All right, well, we'll see, because these government agencies have a track record of even just violating a judge's order. So we'll see if they turn over any of the data that many, many doctors and scientists have been eager to see. But we don't know what the data is beyond what we're being told by, well, like the woman in BC. We just listen. And that's our downfall. Trusting people we should not be trusting. You don't trust government officials. Canada, you have your own corruption going on. United States is it's just a criminal country now. The corruption in the UK and all over governments. You don't trust government officials. But there are just too many who really have these childlike mentalities. Oh, they think they're so, and they're adults. And no, you're a child. You're a child listening to mommy and daddy. Okay, I'm going to put the mask on. Okay, mandated to get that, sharp thing in my arm. Okay. Yeah, well, they're taking care of us. No, they're not. They're destroying you. But can you get through to anyone? 70 members of Pfizer Investment Board, members of the Chinese Communist Party. I bet you're not surprised. So 70% of Americans say it's time to accept COVID and get on with our lives. Yeah, 7 in 10. The main difference? 89% of Republicans, 71% of independents, and only 47% of Democrats want to get on with their life. 47. How, the Democrats, the left is something. They have their own virus taking place, and it's kind of scary. It's not COVID. It's really it's a kind of virus that just eats away at their morality and their brain. And, well, symptoms: 1, irrationality, unreasonable, intolerant, hateful. Oh, wait, I think that's everything that they call everybody else that doesn't agree with them. So Iowa, governor of Iowa. Today I'm announcing the end of the public health disaster proclamation, February 15. The flu and other infectious illnesses are part of our everyday lives, and coronavirus can be managed similarly. Well, what an idea, to be managed like other viruses. Well, hopefully we'll see that. Oh, no, we won't. No, we won't see it in the blue states. Of course not. But let me just tell you, 12 countries rolled back the COVID restrictions. Israel scraps Green Pass. Wow! Wow. All right. So the countries: Sweden, Switzerland, Denmark, Norway, Finland, Ireland, the Netherlands, Italy, Lithuania, France, and the UK. Now, they haven't, France, you know, lifted some restrictions, but, and same is true for a number of these countries. But Israel, really? Top Israeli officials announced this week they're abolishing the country's Green Pass for restaurants, hotels, and gyms and theaters. That's it. Policy update will take effect in 2 days, or 2 days here. Um, Israel's proof of vaccination policy will remain in effect for events such as parties or weddings. Huh. Okay, that sounds a little weird, doesn't it? Um, they're going to lift it for restaurants, hotels, gyms, and theaters, but keep it in place for parties or weddings. Why? Well, it's not reducing infections in closed spaces like theaters. It needs to be used mainly for high-risk places like hospitals, elderly care homes, or events when you are eating, singing, dancing. Oh, okay. Makes sense. Not. But, all right, so good. They're lifting it, you know. But if you read a little bit further about all of these restrictions being lifted, there's always that caveat. There's always that, uh, but, in December, which was one of the countries, I can't remember, but in December, we may have to, yeah, don't get your hopes up. It's fabulous that, the Green Pass is being lifted for some things, at least now. Israelis who are not vaccinated or haven't gotten, to full vaccine. Well, you were fully vaccinated at one point, but then Green Pass deactivated. You need a booster. All right. Now you can at least go out and eat. Don't sing and don't dance because, well, the police may be watching you. But all of this can change. All of this can change. And frankly, I have to wonder, the lifting of all of these restrictions, especially in countries where they've just said no vaccine passport, we're going to eliminate it, we're not going to do this, we're going to open up completely. Uh, when you, those of you who have grown up in homes where the home environment was not really healthy, and, well, you might have had a parent that was narcissistic or psychopathic or abusive, and you never knew when, that shit was going to hit the fan. You were always very tense and on guard and hypervigilant, and when is it, especially when it would just come out of the blue. I have to wonder if this is part of the trauma program for the world's people. So, what else do I have? It has officially been 1 month since Norway removed all COVID restrictions. They have no vaccine passports, mask mandates, social distancing rules. Their 7-day rolling average of new deaths, lower than ever. How'd that happen? Look at this. Lithuania. Wow. But Lithuania also, I believe, did away with their vaccine passport. Don't quote me on that, but Latvia, Estonia, Sweden, very low. Denmark, whoa. And Norway, whoa. Very, very low. So, we do know that all of these restrictions do not work. They don't work. And 3 years into it, I'm sorry, but every adult, no matter what country you're living in, you should know that. You should know that. None of this is working. So why are governments doing this? Perhaps they have an agenda. And that agenda is to take away your rights because, well, look into Trudeau. He's as corrupt as they come. He's working for the World Economic Forum. Canadians, look into it. He doesn't represent you. Oh my God. When it gets so unbelievably bloody obvious, that's when it gets infuriating. Supreme Leader Sturgeon in Scotland plans to enforce face masks in Scotland for years. Now, I believe that, all right, this was 2 weeks ago. Really? So you have all of these places lifting restrictions, and then you have places that are saying for years, this is just the way it's going to be for years. How could that be? Is it possible that all of these countries are acting so inconsistently for the United Nations, the World Health Organization, to step in and say, countries, member countries, you all have to follow our rules. One world government established. Because all of the inconsistency is proving not to work. What's the next variant going to be? What's the next virus going to be? Right? And they'll claim that none of this has worked because all of these countries have just been so inconsistent. They've been, one opens up, the other one closes down, one takes off the face mask, the other one puts it back on, keep it on for years. There's absolutely something to this madness that we are experiencing. New York passed. Both houses just waiting for Huckle's signature. The Assembly Bill A416 relates to the removal of cases, contacts, and carriers of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to the public health. Oh, read it. It's quite just like Washington's and Illinois. These bills where they are giving the authority to health officers to detain you, to take you out of your home, and yes, put you in a government facility, not even if you're sick, if you are suspected of being a case. A case? Yes. That's why they kept saying cases, 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 cases. If a health officer suspects that you could have, and it's not just COVID-19, it's any infectious disease. So, you can read a lot of the comments that were underneath this. Interesting, it's been introduced 7 times without much of the wording being changed. And in all its ambiguity, it mentions a couple of things specifically which elicit the potential for detainment, contagious disease, or other illness. Other illness. Now, they've been Omicron, not severe, and symptoms were cold symptoms. That's enough for them to pull you out of your home, take you away. If you violate these health orders of detainment, there are civil and criminal charges that can be leveled against you. Who in their right mind would actually think to introduce legislation like this? A tyrant. Who in their right mind would sign it? A tyrant. So apparently, passed the Senate, passed Assembly, delivered to Governor, signed. Do you think Hochul is not going to sign it? Oh, she's going to sign it, all right. She will definitely sign it. Quarantine is what happens when someone carries a deadly and highly contagious disease. This bill is no good. You remove my comment, they cannot be serious. Live free or die. Big nay from me. This bill must not pass. Nay, nay, nay. We live in Huntington, New York. Nay, this is un-American. Yes, it is. But what's remarkable is that all of the information that we have heard, especially about New York, over the years, that New Yorkers seem, and I've received comments underneath my videos from New Yorkers who say that most New Yorkers are really, they're just cheerleaders for the tyranny. They want it. Absolutely not one step away from total government rule. This obliterates individuals' rights and such an extreme overstep of government. This has to be withdrawn. Just wrong. Of the people, for the people, by the people. Nay. Stop electing these people. The solution? No. Don't comply. You know, Hochul was not elected. She stepped in when Cuomo was taken out. But will I say this? I will say this. You get Republicans in these positions of gubernatorial positions, you're better off. It will slow things down. And this is your governor, okay? So if she comes out after signing this bill, and there's a lot of press about the bill, but there probably won't be, and she says, you know, well, we wouldn't, you know, do anything like ripping people out of their homes and detaining them. Just look at what she has already been doing. So a judge in Long Island ruled that Hochul's mask mandate was unlawful because I believe it was that there was no emergency order in place. Didn't matter to Hochul. She immediately got her DA on it. And what was the net result? Judge saves New York's mask mandate after last-minute appeal from Democrats. Okay. Democrats in particular are so sick and twisted today. They're warped. They're tyrants. They're control freaks. And they want the control over everyone's life. And if people can't see that already, then maybe it's just the people who can't see it are also control freaks. Australia.
When is he now? Oh! Oh! Oh my God! She pushed him to the ground. Oh! She came to get her car. And the policeman pushed his mother in front of their children. The kids are crying. Look at your mum. Look at your mum. Come here. She went to get her car. They're about to tow. Come here, Donna.
Embarrassing, guys. You make kids cry.
She didn't know her car was being towed. She came here. I was asking why they did. When is it now?
The Aussie police have been showing us from the start. This is not about health. This is about tyranny. They continue to show us this is about tyranny. This is about that police officer literally pushed that woman to the ground for no reason. What they're doing here at this park, this is part of the Freedom Convoy going on in Australia, and cars were parked. So the police, have been Nazis. They're towing all of the cars away. But when you see police acting like this, you know, and they must know, that it's not about health. Obviously, because they're getting right into people's faces and they're pushing people and they're, with their bare hands and it's not about health. They're not scared of getting anything. So, the state condoned violence continues in Australia. Wow, Australia. I'll link below to this. You can watch how the police are just, and how these people can do it. I honestly, there's something so fundamentally wrong with every individual police officer who engages in this. They're so wrong. They're not right. Well, Australian authorities say draconian vaccine passports could last for years. Oh boy. What's interesting too? The workers of the world unite and the left hates it. The left. What happened to you guys? You Democrats, who were always for individual rights. And you were always a champion of the workers. Not so much anymore, huh? Something really has just taken over. Democrats in particular, they're gone. They're gone. All of the censorship, who's calling for it? The Democrats. In particular, the Democrats. Freedom! Hey! Spotify, and we've got these Neil Young and Joni Mitchell. What the hell were you guys doing decades ago? Remember? Oh, you were all about freedom. Not so much now, huh? Aged baby boomers who clearly have so sold their soul, and I'm not even sure they had a soul then, but they sure were making a lot of money then. Brits told to reduce living standards as government spends $4.7 million per day on housing refugees in hotels. Bank of England said citizens must prepare for the biggest fall in their standard of living for decades. Biggest fall in their standard of living in decades since records began. No, wait. Okay. Biggest fall in their standard of living for it's going to last a long time. Since records began. Biggest fall. Well, so many have fallen all over the world. So many have fallen in Western countries. So many have fallen in that wealthy country, United States, you know. And it's only going to get worse. But yeah, they spend over $1 billion a year on refugees. Well, it's like the U.S., what we spend here on housing and giving medical care to and education to illegal immigrants. And hell, why not give them the right to vote like New York did? New York City. New Yorkers, do you not realize that your government officials they don't care about the law? They violate it all the time. They make up their own laws. Do you not get what's going on here? Oh boy. It's infuriating. But even, you know, releasing the mandates, the green pass, the passports, everything, you still have a whole lot of the private sector, T-Mobile, to fire all unvaccinated corporate staff by April, and a whole lot of corporations like Hershey and other corporations. We don't have a constitution anymore. We haven't in a very, very long time. So, I'll link below to what I said I was going to link below to. Do I want to see success with all of the people all over the world fighting for their freedom? Absolutely. Absolutely. And Facebook deleted the American Convoy's page, and it had a whole lot of members. Don't do GoFundMe anymore. Let's see if the Give Send Go is working. It's very slow. Try again in a few minutes. Let's see. No, because they're just doing the same. Nope. Okay. Just keep trying. The link is below. I hope you're all doing okay. I really do. And on that note, I hope you all have a decent weekend. Got a whole lot of snow. I don't know how much, maybe 14, 16 inches or slushy crap. So, ciao guys.